everybody. Welcome to Mobility Flow Live. Thank you so much for joining me this early afternoon. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, I'll explain the synopsis of the class today as people are starting to filter in. Props needed for today's class are your 2 yoga blocks or your 2 thick books and 1 towel. Yoga straps are okay if that's what you're using instead. I just kind of prefer the thick towel so that we can really wrap the hands around, but if you have a yoga strap, that's absolutely fine as well. So what we're focusing on today is all of the movements of the shoulder blade, and there's a lot of them. A lot of people think that the shoulder blade only moves up and down, but it turns, it rotates, it does so many things. Now, why is it important to have a shoulder blade that moves? If your shoulder blade isn't moving in all directions, we're not utilizing the musculature that is responsible for all of these movements, which can make us more prone to injury of the shoulder. And we've talked about the shoulder before, how it's the most vulnerable joint in the body because it's not even connected to the body by bone, it's connected by soft tissue. So it's incredibly vulnerable to injury. So today we're going to explore all of the movements of the shoulder blade, and there is a lot of them. So primarily our focus today, and I'm going to go over this a few times as we start with our movement practice, is it's so important that your upper arm bone or your humerus bone is moving in relation to your shoulder blade. And for a lot of us, they're moving separately, which is limiting our range of motion and sometimes causing pain, particularly in sort of the deltoid ball of the shoulder or up in the joint itself. So all of these movements today are designed to kind of reunite the relationship between the upper arm bone, and the shoulder blade. And there are a lot of you that are joining today or who will be joining later that do a lot of repetitive movements overhead. Ninja people, bouldering people, you know what I'm talking about, and you may be encompassing some wrist, elbow, or shoulder injuries as a result of that. So today is all about helping to restore function of the shoulder blades. Cool? So with that being said, I think we're good to get going. Again, if people are still filtering in, that's okay. And if you're starting late, that's okay too. You can always watch it later. All right, so we're gonna start down on our back. I'd like you to have both of your props, both of your blocks with you. We don't need the towel right now, but we'll be using it pretty soon. So go ahead and prop down on your back. All right, and as always, if you've been kind of joining in on these classes, you do have the option to put a block behind your head, especially if when you lie down, you're this person, where your shoulders are kind of rolling off and you've got a big arch in the back of the neck and the throat is really open. You're someone who needs a block because you're just sort of limiting how much the spine and the neck are going to work together during movement. So you're that person. If you're somebody who can, have the back of the neck long and you feel relatively comfortable here, you don't need a prop or a block behind your head. All right, so we're going to start very simply here. All right, so on the back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. So I'd like you to take your arms out to the side, kind of like a letter W. So your palms are facing up and your elbows are a little bit lower than the shoulder, so it almost looks like we have a letter W. Now, for some of you, this is not going to happen because there's limitations in the range of motion in your shoulders. So you might look like this, elbows popping off, or you might look like your wrists are kind of popping off, or it might kind of look like your spine is popping off. Either or, don't worry about it. It's just a lack of range of motion in the shoulder, which we're going to talk about today. So whether you can have the arms flat on the floor or not, don't worry. We're actually going to take those arms and lift them a little bit up off the floor. So they're kind of floating in space. Now, what we want to prioritize here is the rotation of the shoulder, meaning we're going to rotate it outward. So I want to think of turning my elbows just a little bit up to the ceiling. Just a little bit of a turn up, and that's just going to allow the shoulder to turn outward. Now we're going to make this movement here that I call snow angels, because it's kind of what it looks like. is I'm slowly going to take my arms, hovering them about an inch or so up off the floor, and I'm just going to take them, and I'm just going to take my right hand, and I'm going to try to cross it over my left hand. Now for some of you that won't happen. You won't come close. That's okay. With all the movements that we're doing today, we want to stop before pain occurs. So if you only ended here without pain coming in, that's fine. If you got the right palm over, that's fine too. And then as I return to my snow angel position, this time I want to think of taking my elbows and bringing them a little bit closer in towards the rib cage without letting the mid portion of my spine pop up off the floor. So I want that rib cage to relax down. And then I'm just going to repeat this. So I'm sort of going out and up, and I'm crossing that right hand over as much as I can. And then I'm going out, in, and down towards the rib cage, as if I'm trying to kind of pin those elbows in. Okay? Let's try 3 more like this with the right hand crossing over. And I want you to go nice and slow. And if you're really paying attention, draw those elbows in, you'll feel your shoulder blades moving. They're turning. Yeah, they're not turning to their full capacity, but they're turning. Right hand crosses over. And then out and in, pull those elbows into the side. 1 more here. And let those arms just kind of float up off the floor, cross over. And then out and in, and pull those elbows in. Awesome. Okay, let's relax the arms for a moment. So now you know what we're doing. We're going to do the other side, meaning we're going to cross the left arm over the right so that our left shoulder blade is a little bit more dominant in the movement. So I'm going to go ahead and take my arms out to the side again. I'm going to hover them, and then I want to turn my elbows up a little bit. And now as I cross, now I want my left hand to go over my right hand. Good. And then I just want to keep that action going. Yeah. And as you pull the elbows in, really feel like your lat muscles, or the muscles along sort of the side of the rib cage, let's say, are really helping you to hug those elbows in. So let's keep going here. Good. One of the most important things I say to people, and if you've worked with me before, is if your shoulder blades are moving and they're on your rib cage, your shoulders are strong and healthy. If they're not, you're more prone to injury. So today we're going to work at resolving some of those things. Elbows in, 3 more like that. Left palm goes over top, crisscross if you can, and then pull it in. 2 more here. Really simple. Cross over, out and in, pull it in nice and tight. Use those lats to pull those elbows in. 1 more here. Cross over again, don't worry how much range you have today. And then pull it in. Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, beautiful. Go ahead and drop those arms. All right, now you're going to take your right arm out to the side, just your right arm, so palm facing up. And then from the rotation of the shoulder, now we're going to take the shoulder inward. And now I'm going to turn my palm to face down, so my thumb is pointing towards my feet. And then all I want to do from here is I want to lift my hips a little bit up off the floor, and I want to take my hand with the palm facing down, and I either want to put it underneath my butt cheek or along the middle portion of the spine, and then I want my hips to drop down. Now this is usually a tricky range of motion for a lot of people, so feel free to go less. You can put the hand more towards the bum if you'd like, or the lower back, or you go up a little bit higher. And then just take that left hand and put it on that shoulder and feel like you're just kind of drawing that shoulder back. So just kind of not pushing it into the floor, but allowing it to roll back. And then I'm just going to come out of this. I'm going to lift my hips. I'm going to slide my hand, drop my hips, and as I slide my arm across the floor, back where it was, my palm is still facing down. And then from the rotation of the shoulder, I'm going to turn my thumb back up. Okay? We're going to do 2 more times like this. Palm goes down. Slide, lift the hips, good, and go under and lower, good, again, lift, slide, good, drop the hips, turn the palm to face up, good, 1 more here, palm goes down, lift the hips, slide it underneath, drop the hips down, Good, and then I lift, I slide, I drop my hips, and then I turn my palm to face up. Fantastic. Good. Relax that. Same thing other side. So you'll see kind of what I'm doing from a different angle. Left arm out to the side, turn my palm to face down, rotation of the shoulder. Now as I slide the arm, I lift the hips, and I take my arm wherever it's going to go, and I drop down. And then on the first one here, just take that right hand to the left shoulder and just kind of draw it back a little bit so you just feel like it's coming into the floor. And then I lift the hips, I slide out from under, I drop my hips. Good. And then I turn my palm to face up. Good. Turn the palm to face down, lift the hips, slide underneath, drop down, lock it in place, lift the hips, slide, drop the hips down. Good. Turn the thumb back to face the back of the room. One more here. Palm goes down, slide, lift the hips, arm behind you, drop down. And then we lift, we slide. As we drop the hips, arm out to the side, turn the palm to face up. Fantastic, beautiful. All right, so now we're gonna prop up to a seated position, however you choose to do that. And you're gonna need both of your blocks for this. So one of the blocks is going to be for you to sit on. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and sit on one of the blocks. Okay, and I might turn a little bit so you guys can actually see what my shoulder blades are doing. So I'm just going to come to ideally a cross-legged seat, but for some people that might not be desirable. That's fine. You can diamond your legs or take them out in front of you or kind of straddle the legs, whatever's going to allow you to maintain an upright position. All right, so now we're going to try to unite that upper arm bone and those shoulder blades. So first thing I'd like you to do is go ahead and grab your block, and I want you to take the end that is the widest but also the shortest, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to take the heel of your hand only, and you're going to go ahead and grab those blocks. And my fingertips are actually going to come off of the blocks. So the only thing that's grabbing is the heel of the hand. And then I want to take that block out in front of me. So now we're just going to work with two movements of the shoulder blade. Moving the shoulder blade towards one another, so our shoulder blades squeeze, our upper back muscles squeeze, and then away from one another, so our upper back rounds a little bit. So as I squeeze with the heel of my hand, I want to think that there's a magnet in between my elbows that is forcefully trying to draw the elbows towards one another, but obviously they're not going to touch. There's a big block in the way. But that's going to start to involve our pec muscles, which are a huge, crucial muscle or muscles to keep the shoulders healthy. So as I squeeze those elbows, I'm going to fire up those inside pecs. All right, now all I'm going to do, keeping my arms straight, I want to keep my head nice and still, and I want to draw the shoulder blades towards one another. So what that means is I'm going to pull my arm bones back, and I want my shoulder blades to kind of pop off my back, kind of like a little valley. Then I want to move them forward. So I'm taking my arm bones, taking them forward, and I'm feeling like my shoulder blades are moving away from the spine, okay? So we're gonna keep doing that, and I'm just gonna face this direction so you guys can see. So we're gonna start by drawing the shoulder blades towards one another, and then away from one another, towards, away, towards, away. Now keep going at that pace. And you'll start to feel a lot of work happening in your arm muscles, okay? Really emphasize squeezing that block and keeping those elbows nice and straight. Good, keep going. Whatever speed you're going, just keep thinking backward and forward, squeeze away, keep going there, and just watch that you're not involving your head in this. Or you're not kind of turtling the head forward. You're trying to keep it nice and still. And you're really, really focusing on those upper back shoulder blades moving towards one another and away from one another. Let's do one more round here. Good, and then go ahead and relax down. Whew. And that might have felt like a lot of work in your arms. That's good, we want that to happen. All right, now we're gonna work the overhead position. All right, so this one's a little tricky, a little tough. So same idea, I want to grab the block the same way I had it, pressing the heels of the hands onto the blocks, and then I want to take that out in front of me. Now my head does not change, so back of the head on the back of the neck, chin relatively parallel to the floor. Now I want to squeeze the block as hard as I can with the heels of the hand, And then all I want to think about doing is reaching my block a little bit forward, and then I want to proceed to start to go up. And I want to go really slowly. And what I want to do is I want to stop before my spine starts to change. And what I mean by that is before my spine starts to arch. So I want to keep that rib cage down, and I want to go as high as I can. So for me, that's about here. So my arms are not next to my ears. If your arms are next to your ears, you're ducking your head forward and you're arching your spine. So hold that. Now, as you squeeze the block, I want you to think about taking your shoulder blades and lifting them up. So as you lift them up, you're going to reach up towards the ceiling. Now squeeze as hard as you can for 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Now maintain that tension on the block and slowly lower. And this time we're going to go all the way down to give your arms a little bit of a break. Cool? So we're going to do this 3 times without stopping. So a couple things to keep in mind. We're trying to let the arm bone and the shoulder blade move together. We don't want the head to duck forward and our spine to arch. We're not going for range of motion here. We're going for how high can I lift my arms, maintaining tension on the block, squeezing the insides of my elbows together to find my pec, find the movement of the shoulder blade and the upper arm bone, and trying to maintain my ribcage down. Okay, so we're going to try 3 of these without stopping. So we're not going to take that block all the way down. Okay, so here we go. Block out in front of me, squeeze. I want to think of there's that magnet between my elbows, giving that a good squeeze, and maintaining my ribs down. All right, so here I go. I reach forward and up, forward and up, forward and up. And I'm going to stop when I decide, because everyone's going to be different, when I feel like I'm going to lose this tension, which for me, about here is good because I can maintain my rib cage down. Now, as I squeeze the block, I want to think about that upward lift of the blades. So I want to lift them up. Good. And as they lift up, feel like they're scooping underneath you. Squeeze and hold. Good for 2, 1. Now slowly take your time. Lower just right back to the starting position in front of you. Okay, 2 more times like that. Squeeze, and then I reach forward and up. If your arms are burning, that's a good thing. I'm going to go as high as I can. Ribs down. Now I want to think upward lift of the blades. Squeeze the heels of the hands. Hold. Good. For 3, triceps. 2, 1, and then lower. Good. Right out in front of you. Don't lower all the way down. If you need a break, go ahead and take it. 1 more here. Squeeze. Forward and up. 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 I want to stop before I start to feel like I'm going to lose the tension or arch my spine. Now I want to find that upward lift of the shoulder blades. Not influence my head or my neck. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I'm going to lower. Nice and slow. Right out in front of me. I'm going to hold there. And then go ahead and relax that down. Great job, guys. Okay, go ahead and come up off of that. You're going to come forward to hands and knees. Now, I have a little bit of a wrist issue right now, not really sure why. So it's hard for me to put weight on my hand right now. So I'm going to demonstrate on my fist, but you guys are going to do this on your palm. You're welcome to do it on your fist too, if your knuckles can maintain that amount of tension. But see how you guys feel like with this. So we're going to come forward to that hands and knees position. So again, I want to make sure that my knees are under my hips, and I'm just going to demonstrate with my left hand. So I'm going to find that hand position. I want to think elbows under shoulders. I want to think of taking my hand, turning it out, or hands, excuse me, turn it out a little bit so that from the upper arm bone, I can work to spin my inner biceps forward, okay? So both palms are going to be flat. I'm just going to keep my right hand like a fist. Now, we're going to work with a single arm push-up of the shoulder blade. So keeping my knees on the floor, my toes curled under, what I'm actually going to do is bring my left hand to my left hip. So the only hand that's on the floor is my right one. Now keeping my chest parallel to the floor and my low belly lifted, all I'm going to do is take a single arm scapular push-up. So without bending the elbow, I'm going to drop my chest down. So now my shoulder blade pops up off my rib cage. Then I'm going to push up until my upper back is full for 1. Dip down, push up 2. Dip down, push up 3. Dip, push 4. Dip 5. Dip 6. Dip 7. Dip 8. Dip 9. Don't turn the hips. Last one. Dip and 10. Awesome. Go ahead and put that left hand down, right hand to the right hip. Now again, I don't want to turn my hips. I don't want to bend my elbow. I want to use the right side of my waist to hold tension. So let's try 10 on this side. So I'm going to dip, push 1. Dip, emphasize the push 2. Dip 3. Dip 4. Dip 5. Dip 6. Dip 7. Dip 8. Dip 9. Last one, dip and 10. Okay, great. Now come back to your right hand. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right hand back on the floor. Now I'm going to extend the same leg as the right hand. So I'm going to go ahead and take my right leg, extend it back. So my right hand's on the floor and my right leg is extended. Now I want you to take your left hand and try to grab sort of the outer border of your armpit, so more so that outer border of the shoulder blade. Now all I want to think about is that top position of that push-up we just did. So pushing the shoulder blade to the ceiling. So as I push the shoulder blade to the ceiling, now I'm going to grab that shoulder blade and I'm going to turn. And as I turn open to the left, I'm turning that shoulder blade on the right side and popping it on the rib cage. Then I'm going to turn back parallel to the floor. I'm going to push up, and then I'm going to turn for 2. Down. Push up, turn for 3. Down. Push up, turn for 4, and down. Last one here, push up 5, and turn, and come on back. Good. So let's repeat to the other side. So as you grab that shoulder blade and you turn, you're taking that shoulder blade and putting it on the rib cage. So it's really important that we push the shoulder blade to the ceiling. So let's try that left side. So I'm going to put my left hand down. I'm going to extend the same leg back as the arm, so my left. I'm going to take my right hand. I'm going to wrap it underneath that sort of outer border shoulder blade armpit. And then I'm going to go for 5 here. So I'm going to push. And then as I push, I turn open to the right. I come back parallel. I push. And I turn. Good. Parallel. I push. I turn. I come back parallel. 2 more here. I push. Turn open. Come on back. Last one here. I push. And I turn. Good. Come on back parallel. Beautiful. All right, guys. Go ahead and grab both of your blocks. Okay, so from here, we're going to take a plank position, but we're going to really emphasize the role that the shoulder blades play in plank as opposed to the abdominals. When we think of plank, we think of belly muscles, abs, all of that. Yep, that's working too. But your shoulders are in a really stable position. So again, I'm going to do this on my fists. You guys are going to go ahead and do this on your palms. If you want to do it on your fists, that's fine too. Hopefully your blocks are foam, so it's a little bit more comfortable for you. So we're going to take almost like a hollow body plank. So you're going to go ahead and set your palms up just like you would, hands and knees on your blocks. Turn them out a little bit, spin those inner biceps forward. Okay. Now, as I step back into a plank, I'm going to step back. Now what I'm going to emphasize is really working to push the shoulder blades to the ceiling, tuck my chin slightly, scoop my butt underneath me, so I'm in this big hollow position, and I want to push up and hold. So I want to push my fists down into the block as I round the shoulder blades to the ceiling. Now carefully, without losing the tension, set my knees down. Again, I go ahead and lift the legs. I push, I round that upper back. Good. Carefully set the knees down. Again, I lift the legs, I push, I scoop underneath. Good, I set the knees down. 2 more here. I lift, I push, I scoop, I hold. Set the knees down. Last one here, arms should be shaking. I lift, I push, I scoop, I scoop, I scoop, I scoop, I scoop. I set the knees down. Awesome. Let's try that one more time. So your plank should almost look kind of rounded. So you're gonna let that head go. So you want that rounding to go from the back of the head all the way to the bum. And I want you to work so hard with your arms that they start to quiver. So really emphasize pushing down into your palms or your fists, and think of pushing down to lift up. Cool, so let's try 5 more like that. So go ahead and set yourself back up, whatever you're doing. Okay, I'm gonna step back to plank. Here I go, I'm gonna push the upper back, I'm gonna scoot the butt, I'm gonna tuck my chin, hold. Good, set the knees down. Good, lift them up, push, scoop the butt. Drop down, good, lift the legs, push, scoop the butt. Drop down, 2 more, lift the legs, push, scoop the butt. Drop down, last one here, lift the legs, push, scoop the butt. Drop down, great, beautiful, okay. You're gonna need 1 block with you only. We're gonna go ahead and proceed to lie down on our stomachs. So this is where your towel is gonna come in place, or your yoga strap. So you're gonna go ahead and grab that as well as one of your blocks. Go ahead and come down onto your stomachs. Okay. So we're going to take a belly lying version of a lat pull down. Now, for these first little things, I'm gonna demonstrate first because you guys are actually gonna be keeping your head down. So I don't want you to have to look forward at the camera. So let me just show you 2 repetitions. You guys watch, and then we'll try them together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my towel or my strap, and I'm gonna take it to an overhead position. Wider is better because I want you to ideally have your elbows straight. So I'm gonna cup that towel, overhand grip, and I'm gonna keep my forehead down on the floor. Now, like we've been talking about, I don't want my hip bones to come up off the ground. My low back is gonna be doing too much work. So I'm gonna push those hip bones into the floor. Now I wanna take my forehead and drop it down. Now, what I wanna think about with this lat pull down, let me just move my, okay. So I'm gonna do that overhand grip, arms nice and straight. If your elbows are bending, go wider, okay? Now all I'm gonna do from here is using my upper back muscles, I'm gonna reach forward and up. Now as I pull that towel apart, I'm gonna almost think that I'm doing a behind the neck lat pull down. So my towel's coming towards the back of my neck and my elbows are coming into my sides. Then I pull that towel apart as I go back overhead, and then I drop down, okay? I'll show you one more. Reach forward and up. Now I pull that towel apart as I pull it into the back of my neck, and then I pull apart and I reach forward and I come on down, okay? So it's basically a lat pull down in reverse. Cool, we're gonna try, let's try 5 of these because they're pretty tough. We're gonna go at that nice slow speed. So go wider if you feel like your neck is taking over. Take that overhand grip. I'm gonna drop my forehead down, hip bones in the floor. Here I go, I reach forward and up. Now I pull apart using my upper back muscles. Pull that towel behind the neck, pull apart, reach forward, drop down. Again, forward and up, pull apart, pull it in towards the back of the neck, pull apart, reach, drop down. 3 more, reach forward and up, pull apart. Good, pull apart, go overhead. Drop down, 2 more, reach forward and up, pull apart. Good, squeeze, pull apart as you reach forward. Drop down, 1 more here. Reach forward and up, pull apart, squeeze. Pull those elbows into the sides. Pull apart, go overhead. Good, and drop down. Whew. Awesome, good. Go ahead and relax from there, beautiful. Okay, so now we're gonna take, almost like we did on the back with the letter W, we're gonna take that here. So now you're actually gonna take that towel that you had. And if you were using a yoga strap, don't worry, you can keep your head on the floor. You can go grab a towel or a pillow. But I'm actually gonna take that towel and I wanna fold it over in just like, it doesn't matter what shape, because this is gonna be to support the forehead. So it emphasizes us keeping the back of the neck neutral. So again, let me just show you 2 reps and then we'll try 5 on our own. So I'm gonna keep that forehead on my towel and I'm gonna take my arms out to the side like a letter W, but my thumbs are gonna face up. So notice how my elbows are lower than my shoulders. So I've got like a nice W shape and my thumbs face up. Now all I'm gonna do from here is I wanna take my arms and lift them up off the floor, and I wanna pinch my shoulder blades together. And then I drop down. Elbows down and up, pinch and drop. Okay, we're gonna try 5 of these. Bilal has his hand up.
What do you do about pain on the outside of the right arm? In this situation, the person can't reach behind their head.
Do I know who it is? I need a little bit more specific. Where's the pain?
Outside of the elbow.
So the outside of the elbow. So pain in the outside of the elbow with the overhead position, and then pulling down is extremely common. It's more leaning towards inflammation of the lateral elbow tissue. That is definitely something that I can't answer right now because it requires a lot of detail. So a lot of detail, and it would need a little bit more detail from you. So my suggestion would be shoot me an email, jen@freeruninc.com, JENN@freeruninc.com, and we can talk about it because that's a broad issue, but it is normal and it can be resolved. So let's keep that there. Cool? Okay, beautiful. All right, shoot me an email. All right, so we're gonna try 5 of these little W's, okay guys? So keep that forehead down, make that nice W, okay? Thumbs face up. Now I wanna draw my elbows down and I wanna lift. Now I wanna try to find my middle shoulder blades, guys, not my neck. That's so common for a lot of people to feel their necks. Hold, drop down, W, elbows down and lift, pinch, 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 pinch. Drop down, elbows down and lift, pinch, hold, hold, hold. Drop down, elbows down and lift, pinch and hold. Good. Drop down, last one here, elbows down and lift, hold and pinch, 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 drop down. Beautiful. Good. Okay, now we're gonna do something called, I call it the swimmers. In English, I'm not gonna give you the anatomy term. So again, I'm gonna show you and then we're gonna do it together because your forehead's gonna remain down. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep that forehead down. Now I wanna take almost like a letter V or a letter Y overhead. Again, go wider if you're having pain or your elbows are bent. Go wide. Now, all I'm gonna do from here is reach forward and up, trying to find those low shoulder blades. Now I'm gonna rotate my thumbs to face down, and then I'm gonna swim my arms back behind me, focusing on descending my shoulder blades down. Then I drop the tips of the thumbs to the floor. Then I lift, then I flip the palms away from me, I swim back overhead, and I drop down. And then I repeat, okay? So we're basically going from taking the shoulder blade to an upward position, we're rotating it to face down, we're rotating it out and back up, okay? So let's give this one a whirl. So forehead dropping, arms overhead, thumbs facing the ceiling. So I'm gonna reach forward and up, then I'm gonna turn the thumbs to face down, swim my arms back alongside of me, focus on descending my shoulder blades down to the floor, drop the tip of the thumbs. Lift, turn the palms away from me, swim out and up overhead, drop the pinky fingers. Again, reach forward and up, turn the palms away from you, swim. Good, beautiful. Drop the thumbs down, lift, turn the palms away from you, swim back up overhead, drop down. Let's do one more here. Reach forward and up, turn the thumbs to face down, swim the arms back alongside of you. Good, drop the thumbs down,
Last one, lift, flip the palms away from you, swim back up overhead, and then go ahead and drop down.
Beautiful. Now, like the question that came before, don't worry if you guys are having a lot of trouble with this. I do as well, and I did a lot at first, but it shows us what we need. Okay, so now you're gonna need your block, your one trusty block. So now we're gonna work with outer rotation of the shoulder. So this one looks very, very simple. It almost looks like you're not doing anything, but with tension-based effort, you're gonna feel the shoulder doing a lot of work. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna take my block to its lowest height, and I'm gonna make this position where my elbow is a little bit lower than my shoulder and my fist is gonna be on the block. Now, watch carefully. What I wanna think about doing is pushing my elbow down in towards the floor, and then from the outer rotation of the shoulder, I'm gonna push down and try to take my fist up as if I was about to arm wrestle somebody. And then I come back down. Now, you're not swinging the arm and you're not turning the body. You're creating tension. I'm pushing the elbow down and then I'm starting to take my arm up. Now, if your wrist is kinking, you're trying to lift from your wrist. I want you to lift from the rotation of the shoulder. Okay, so let's try 5 of these. So make my fist. I can rest kind of my chin or my forehead on my towel, whatever feels better. And then I want to push that elbow down, and then from the rotation of the shoulder, I want to think of lifting that arm up off the block. It's not going to go very high. Then I drop down. Push the elbow down, lift, down. Push the elbow down, lift, good. 2 more. Push the elbow down as I turn that shoulder backwards and down. 1 more here. Push the elbow down, turn, drop down. Good, okay? So let's do the other side. I'm just gonna kind of flip over a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing on the other side. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna find that same position. Am I in a good position? Yeah, okay. All right, so here I am. The rotation of the shoulder is what's lifting my forearm, not my wrist or my forearm, the shoulder. So in my position, I'm gonna push my elbow down and I'm gonna turn. Now my left shoulder doesn't have a lot of rotation. I can feel it. This is so hard. Drop down, elbow down, turn, drop, good. Elbow down, turn, drop. 2 more, elbow down, turn that shoulder to lift that arm. Drop down, 1 more, turn that elbow, lift, drop down. Great. Okay guys, we're gonna stand up from here. So let's get you off of your bellies. Go ahead and grab your towel because you're gonna need it, and go ahead and stand yourself up. And Bilal will just change the camera for me. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is super important what we're gonna do here. We're gonna work an overhead position as well as a behind the back position. So you're gonna go ahead and grab your towel. You're gonna take an overhand grip and you're gonna go quite wide, maybe wrists a little wider than elbows, okay? Now, this is super important. We don't want the spine to arch or the rib cage to flare as we're doing this. This is not like a heavy overhead press where we want our spine to participate. We want to try to keep that rib cage down, okay? So holding my towel overhead, or excuse me, alongside of me, I want to keep my rib cage down the entire time. My back of the head on the back of the neck, the chin parallel to the floor, and then all I want to do is pull my towel apart using my upper back muscles. So I'm spreading my upper back by pulling my towel apart. Now, as I pull it apart, I'm going to reach forward and up. And I'm going to go as high as I can without letting my rib cage flare. And then I pull apart as I reach forward and down. So you're keeping tension on the towel the entire time. Pull apart and reach forward and up. Pull apart and reach forward and down. Now, if you're really focusing, you're going to see how your upper arm bone and your shoulder blade are working together. Pull apart and reach forward and up. Pull apart and reach forward and down. 2 more there. Pull apart, reach forward and up. Notice how your head and your rib cage, notice what they're doing. Keep them still, pull apart, forward and down. Last one here, pull apart, reach forward and up. Pull apart, reach forward and down. Great. Okay, now we're gonna go behind us into something called shoulder extension, which is usually a position of the shoulder which is ignored. And so we wanna get this active here. So with my hands behind my back now, I wanna take that same grip, but it's more like an underhand grip, okay? So my knuckles will be facing forward, okay? And I wanna have that towel behind my back with my wrists a little wider than my elbows. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. This is where we have the least amount of range of motion. If you're arching your back to swing your arms behind you, you've gone too far. So I want to maintain my rib cage down, my head nice and still. Now tension remains on the towel the entire time. So I'm going to descend my shoulder blades down now. And as I drop them down, I want to feel like they're sitting on my upper back. Okay? So here I go. I'm going to pull that towel apart and I'm going to reach back and up as far as I can without letting my rib cage flare. Then I pull apart and I reach in and down. Apart, back and up. Apart, in and down. You're not going to have a lot of range here. Again, apart, back, apart, down. Keep those neck muscles long. Pull apart, reach back. Good. And then pull it in. Last one here, pull apart, reach back. Good. And then in. Great job. Okay, so we're going to come back down to the floor. Okay, so last kind of strengthening range of motion movement of the shoulder blade we're going to do here is something called downward rotation. So this is when the shoulder blades actually turn all the way down and sit firmly on the rib cage. This is super important. So we're gonna use our block and weight bearing to accomplish this. So what I'm gonna do with my block is I'm gonna turn it so it's like horizontal to me, okay? And I'm gonna step back into an extended version of a forearm plank. So what I'm gonna do with that block is I'm just gonna wrap my hands around it so my fingertips are kind of clawed around the front and my thumbs are kind of wrapping around that block. And then I want to take my elbows and hug them in so that I'm really squeezing the block with my forearms. And then I want to walk my knees back until, let me just pop a little further forward. I'm going to walk my knees back until I'm almost in like an extended version of a forearm plank. So I'm not dumping in my belly. I'm pulling it up and I'm scooping my butt underneath me. Now, I want to think about pulling. So this is going to be an isometric movement, meaning we're creating tension without moving anything. So as I squeeze my forearm into the block, I want to take that block and I want to pull it down towards me. And as I pull it down towards me, I pull my chest forward and I lift the belly. I'm shaking when I do this. So I want you guys to create a lot of tension. Pull down and down and down and down and down, and think of pulling your shoulder blades down towards your hips. Keep going, pull them down. We're going to repeat this 2 times, so don't worry if you're kind of having a little bit of a confusing time. Pull down and down and down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Okay, so we're going to try this again, and let me just go over this. So what I'm basically doing with my block is I'm using tension in my upper back to pull my shoulder blades down. And I'm thinking that I'm trying to lock them down towards my hips, but keep them firmly on my upper back. So I want to keep pulling down isometrically, meaning I'm creating the tension without moving anything, and I don't want to lose that. I want to keep pulling down. So let's try this 2 more times. All right. So grab my block, that same position. Walk my legs back. Shoulders over elbows, push the shoulder blades to the ceiling, scoop the butt. Here I go. I'm going to squeeze the block and I'm going to pull down as I pull my chest forward. Pull down, chest forward. Pull down, chest forward. And just keep doing that. Don't lose it. So you're trying to maintain that tension. pull down, chest forward, pull down, chest forward, pull down, chest forward. And keep repeating that. Keep working that. Neck remains long. Keep holding. Pull down, chest forward, pull down, chest forward. Just keep that action for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. We're gonna try that one more time and then we're gonna cool down. One more time. So keep that action going. Pull down, chest forward, pull down, chest forward. Okay? One more time, guys. All right, go ahead and grab my block. Set my legs back. All right, shoulders over elbows. Butt scooping underneath so my low belly works. Here I go. Pull down, chest forward. Pull down, chest forward. My upper back is burning. Hopefully that's happening for you guys too. I'm really finding those shoulder blade muscles as I push the shoulder blades to the ceiling. Pull down, chest forward, pull down, chest forward. Keep it going, guys. Don't lose the tension. This is the most important part, is learning how to lock those shoulder blades on the rib cage using tension. Good. Pull down, chest forward. 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic job. All right, guys. Now we're going to cool down. I shouldn't really say cool down because we're going to be still working with the movements of the shoulder blade, but we're just going to work a little bit of an easier time here. So all you're going to need is something to sit on. Okay? So go ahead and prop up on your block, or if you want to fold your towel up and prop on that, that's fine too. Okay. All right. So one of the shoulder movements that we didn't explore today was taking the arm across the body. So the shoulder blade actually kind of wings out to the side. So we're going to explore that now. Okay, we're going to do this more dynamically. So I'm going to sit up nice and tall in my position, whatever that might be. And then I want to take my right arm out to the side and I want to cross it over the body as far as I can without turning. So it's not going to be far. Now what I want to do with that left hand is I want to grab that sort of deltoid, or like the sort of the roundest ball portion of the shoulder. Now as I grab that, I'm going to pull the arm across and I'm going to turn towards the left. And then I'm going to come right back to center. So I'm going to grab, I'm going to pull across, I'm going to turn. I'm going to come on back, grab, pull that shoulder blade across and turn. So it's almost like we're trying to take that right shoulder blade and move it away from the center of the body. Come on back, 2 more. I'm going to grab, pull across and turn. Come on back, 1 more here. I'm going to grab, pull across and turn. Good, and come on back. Beautiful. Good. Okay, same thing other side. Left arm out to the side. I'm going to cross that across the body, and then I'm going to grab with my right hand that ball portion of the shoulder. Okay? I want to do that same thing. I want to start to pull across as I push the arm into the body, and I want to rotate as far as I can over towards the right. Come on back. I want to grab, pull across, turn. Come on back, grab, pull, turn. So really think of taking that left shoulder blade and moving it away from the spine. Come on back, 2 more here. Grab, pull across, turn. Good, 1 more. Grab, pull, turn. Good, and come on back. Great, okay. So next thing we're gonna do is, again, something a little bit more dynamically. So I wanna take my right arm out to the side and I wanna make what I call a hitchhiker type thumb. Now from the rotation of the shoulder, I wanna rotate the thumb to face down, okay? For some of you, it might not go all the way down, and that's fine. Now what I wanna do with this thumb is I wanna crawl it back and as high up the back of the spine as it will go. Now, if you're having pain in the front of the shoulder, take your thumb a little lower, okay? Don't bring it all the way up. So go as high as you can without pain. Now, as I have that, I want to take my left ear over to my left shoulder, and I want to think that I'm moving the right shoulder away from the right ear and the right ear away from the right shoulder. Now, as I bring my head back up, I simultaneously release the arm with my thumb facing down, and then I'm going to turn back up, okay? Again, I turn my thumb to face down. Now this time what I want to think about doing is doing it at the same time. So as I crawl my thumb up the body, I want to take that left ear over to the left shoulder. Good. And then I want to come back up as I release the arm. Turn the thumb to face up. Okay, let's do one more time here. Thumb down. Take the head over as I crawl that thumb up. Good. Bring that head back up as I release. Thumb faces down. Go ahead and turn that back up and relax. Okay, same thing other side. Left side, thumb faces up, hitchhiker. From the rotation of the shoulder, I turn the thumb to face down. And then I go ahead and I crawl up. We'll do the first one, just kind of finding our rhythm here. Go as high up the back as you can without pain. Again, watch that inner portion of the shoulder. If you've got pain there, crawl the thumb a little lower. And then I take that ear over. And then I simultaneously release as I come back up. Okay, now I work it dynamically. Thumb goes down. Now the head goes over as I crawl that thumb up. Good, and then head comes back as I release. Again, thumb down, head to the side as I crawl up as high as I can without pain. Good, head comes back, thumb rotates up. One more here, rotate thumb to face down. Head goes out to the side, I crawl back up. Good, head comes back. Good, and thumb goes up. Awesome, relax that down. All right, guys, we're gonna finish up on our backs. So go ahead and pop up off of your prop here, and then go ahead and come down onto your backs here. So same kind of position that we started in. Okay, beautiful. All right, so now we're gonna work a little bit of traction, which means we're gonna create a little bit of space in the joint just to free up any blood restrictions that have accumulated from the movement we've done today. So what I'm going to do with my right arm, so keeping my knees bent, feet flat on the floor, I'm going to take my right arm and I want to reach it as far back overhead as I can without pain. And this time I actually want you to allow your rib cage to flare, okay? So we're just working on that range of motion involving the rib cage. Now, your thumb may not touch the floor, that's fine. Don't worry about it, it's not good or bad. Then I want to take my left hand and I just want to grab whatever I can reach, whether it's above the elbow or the forearm or the wrist. And all I want to do is I just want to pull that shoulder up. So what I'm actually doing is I'm taking the shoulder blade and the arm bone and I'm lifting them up. And I'm just kind of pulling. And I use the term pulling very lightly. I don't want you to yank here. You're just kind of pulling that up a little bit and you'll feel your collarbone elevate. You'll feel the outer border of the armpit elevate. I just want you to pull that up. So we're gonna hold here for just a moment or two. And now I'd like you to find your breathing. So I'd like you to inhale in and out through the nose. And just pull that up. Good. Maybe pull even a little bit more now that we've been here for a little bit. Good, and I want you to keep the right arm where it is. I want you to release the left arm, and I want you to see if you can reach a little bit further on your own without using the left hand as leverage. Just kind of reach there. And again, you're gonna feel everything along the back side of the right arm elevate, okay? Feel free to bring the arm wider if that feels better for you. Good. Now, feel like you're almost pulling everything down. So pull the shoulder blade and the arm bone back down, almost as if you're kind of locking it back into the socket, and then go ahead and release the arm and drop it down. And your arm might even feel a little bit lighter from doing this. So left side, here I go. I take that arm overhead as high as I can or as far back as I can without pain. I'm gonna go ahead and add some traction. So I'm gonna grab, for me, just above the elbow, and then I wanna pull up. And I want to notice as I pull up what lifts, the shoulder blade and the upper arm bone. So I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to keep pulling, and then I want to find my breath. Good. A couple more. Pull up. Now I want to release the right hand and keep thinking that I can pull up without using that leverage. Now I want to go the opposite direction. I want to take that shoulder blade and that arm bone and I want to descend them down without bending the elbow. And then I want to carefully take that arm back to just being alongside the body. Good job. All right, guys. So that's where we're going to finish for today. So I'm going to prop myself back up to seated. So thank you guys so much for joining in this shoulder blade movement class. Super, super important. As always, if you have any questions and the person who had that comment earlier about having pain, feel free to shoot me an email at jen@freeruninc.com, 2 N's, and I'd be happy to answer it as best I can without being able to see you, but we can kind of discuss that. Any comments, questions, concerns, bring them up now. So next Mobility Flow Live is Sunday at 10 a.m. We're actually going to be focusing on unlocking the spine. Probably my favorite thing to do because it just feels so good and your body just feels so much better after it. We all think we need hip openers and all this, but the spine is the foundation of everything. So we're going to unlock the neck, the middle spine, the lower spine, and even the lowest portion of the spine. So that's what we're going to focus on Sunday at 10 a.m. If there are no questions or concerns, then thank you guys so much for being here. As always, hope you have a great Wednesday. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye, guys.